Tom Laux, City of Marshfield's Communications Director. Thanks for joining me on Marshfield Media Access Channel 989 and Channel 991 if you're seeing this, as well as on marshfieldmediaaccess.org. That is officially our new website for the station, so you can watch those programs there anytime on demand. And my guest, Lori, from the library today. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You bet. We get a chance to meet once a month, talk about the activities, things that are happening at the library, which you always have lots to bring us.
We do.
And I look forward to those times. And since I have this in my hand, it's our newsletter. You may have seen it around. But please pick one up if you want one. You can get those at the local Quick Trip. You can get them at the library. You can get them at the community center. You can get them at City Hall. Try to get them out anywhere I can. It has a little bit more information of things that we talked about today as well in here, and other things of other departments. So with that, I am going to get right into what Lori has to say about what's happening in October. I can't believe it's October already.
The year is just flying by.
It is. I'm going to have a 1 year in this place before I know it.
That's true.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
It goes fast.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Well, we have a number of things coming up in October. I will say Halloween does kind of play a part in a number of them. The first, though, is the Earthwash discussion, which was kind of an offshoot of Earth Day and a program we had at the library about it was about the Aldo Leopold Society. And a group formed, and they get together and they read a chapter or two from a Sand County Almanac, and then they discuss, what issues it brings up, and it's gotten a nice steady following. So that's been really neat to see. That'll be on October 2nd, a Wednesday night. It starts at 6:30, and then we have a storyteller coming in, and it's kind of an all ages program. But maybe more on the adult side than on the younger side. Her name is Judy Cook, and she's going to be telling ghost stories. It's on Saturday, October 5th, and it's at 1 p.m. in the Adler Room at the library. Any of the programs that the library has, there are no fees to attend. Everyone's welcome. Unless we think there's going to be an extremely strong attendance, we don't do tickets. So you don't have to worry about it. Just come. We want you to be there. We also have an author that's coming in on October 26th. It's at, again, a Saturday at 10 a.m. She's written a book called The Half Vampire Twins. It's Kathy Binder. We thought, what better time, right close to the Halloween holiday to bring in somebody to tell us about their book about the Half Vampire Twins. And then on Monday, October 21st at 6 p.m., we have the Garden Guru. And what that is it's a group of programs that have kind of sprung out of our relationship with the Master Gardeners, the Wood County Master Gardeners. And this time they're going to be talking about forcing bulbs for winter blooms. So I don't know, October might be a little early, but but if you know how, you know what bulbs to get to have the right kind of blooms. So that's the plan, and that's on Monday, October 21st at 6 p.m.
That's a good one. Because we all want to see our flowers in the springtime. We call them flowers or buds coming up. What do you plant and how do you plant it? How deep do you put the bulb?
Yep.
And what bulbs should you use? That'll help that. So just come to that one.
Just come to that one. Well, and the other thing about this is, you could use this program as a way to, you put your bulbs in a pot and you can force them to bloom in the wintertime. So then you get a little bit of spring in February, which wouldn't be all bad.
No, it really wouldn't be. So quite a few already events in October, and you got some more stuff here.
We do. We have our adult book club, and they're reading The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood, and they're going to be discussing that on Monday, October 28th at 6 p.m. And that meeting is always in the J.P. Adler room, so that'll be going on. We also have an adult craft night and a paint night. They're so popular. that we just do the advertising once and they're full. And so I hesitate to tell you, but if somebody's interested, do call the library, ask to be put on a waiting list, and sometimes we're able to get people in otherwise, but they're just really a popular
Is that
program.
a family event?
It's more for adults.
Adults, okay.
Adults. It's an adult craft
Right.
night, and
You know, that's-
something to painting too.
It's been so popular in a lot of communities, painting for adults. I've seen it in the last 4 or 5 years. It's really blossomed.
You know, well, I think of all the times we've had children's art on the walls, and it's amazing, but it's just beautiful. And then, you know, we get past high school, and it kind of falls away, and people don't have a chance to use that as a way to express themselves. And I think this is a really neat way, and I think that's why you've seen that explosion of all the different opportunities and
I think it's
people
great.
using it. It's wonderful. We do have a set of activities for families. It's always on Tuesday nights. Let's see, we're talking about October, so I'm going to flip the page here. So the first, on October 1st, it's at 6 p.m. We've got a family craft night. At this point, I'm sure there will be crafts related to the season, fall and to Halloween. And then a Lego night the following on the 8th, and that's again at 6 p.m. And on the 15th, we have a program we call Code Busters. And it's a way to introduce kids and families into the beginning parts of coding. And they're using Ozobots. I'm not sure if people know what they are, but they're like this. Oh, they're maybe a size and a half bigger than a Steely marble. I mean, they're little tiny things, but by coding, by using special marks on a piece of paper, you can tell them how to move in certain ways. And so they've been doing this for a while, and each one tries to build on the last one so that people get more and more information about how to do the coding, and the kids really love it. And it's so neat to look in the room and see kids and their families and their parents working together to do the coding. On the 22nd, that again, a Tuesday night at 6 p.m., we have the tail wagging tutors. And tail wagging tutors are those therapy dogs that come in, and the kids can actually, have 15 minutes to read to a very patient dog. And the dogs, they just are like, you'd think they were getting everything out of the story, because they'll just kind of tilt their head every once in a while. And then the last event in the month is October 29th, is the Family Fall Festival. We have Randy Peterson, who's been a longtime performer for our Fall Festival, coming in. He sings, he tells stories, he's just a really good entertainer. Along with that night, there'll be a trick or treat through the library. The program will be, I believe they're doing it over in the Drendel room in the community center, and then they'll be coming over into the library to do their trick or treating. And so one more chance or another opportunity to get those costumes that everybody works so hard to put together. So the kids can wear their costumes to the program and then do some trick or treating. Always on Mondays, we have at 10 a.m. a story time. It's open to anyone. Just drop in. Any age is welcome. On Friday mornings at 10, we have a toddler story time. So it's really intended for those little ones that need to have an adult around with them, and we ask that the parent or adult that's with them stay in the room. Mm-hmm. And then we have a Saturday story time, a special one that is on Saturday the 19th. It's at 2:30 in the afternoon. Murray will be doing that one. He likes the special story times, and so there'll be seasonal stories that go with that as well. And the library will also be participating in the Main Street Trick or Treat. So if kids want to meet Pete the cat and get a treat or a picture with Pete the cat, we'll probably be down near the corner of Central and 2nd. But the Friends have a special treat for the kids. They're going to be giving out a coupon for a free book in the bookstore. So, if you find that in your bag, bring it to the library and your child can pick out a book.
Pick out a book. And the bookstore, where's that located?
The bookstore is just after you enter the doors into the library, and it's off to the right. It's called the Twice Sold Tales.
That's right.
And there's a little arm that comes out with a sign hanging above it, right next to the book drop.
How do they, I guess, get books? Can people donate them?
Oh yes, and many people do.
Okay.
So we've got a lot right now that are waiting to be processed into the
Okay.
bookstore. People can donate them. They're also the things that, we have a process in the library that we call weeding. So we buy books, we put them on the shelf, people use them. Well, after they stop being as popular, we pull them off so that we have room for more new things. And just like you do in your garden, you pull the things that aren't growing, or maybe growing too fast. No,
Right.
those we keep. But for those books and other materials, if they're not earning their place on the shelf, we make room for something new. And so those things are all given to the Friends to sell in the bookstore as well. They're withdrawn and they're stamped a certain way and everything like that. But we do get a lot of donations. So what happens there is someone drops the donations off at the library. They're considered the library's first. And our staff looks at them and says, oh, hey, these are great. In fact, we just had someone drop off some wonderful craft books. And so we'll take a look at those and say, oh, is that going to fill a gap in our collection? Is there demand for this? If there is, then we add them. If maybe we already have 4 copies of it, or it's maybe past its prime in terms of interest, we would then direct it to the bookstore, and it goes that way. But it all comes back and benefits the library in the long run.
Okay. Do they need to make an appointment if they have a lot or just a few?
Well, it's a good idea to give us a heads up.
Get a heads up. You don't.
Yeah, if you give us a call and say, hey, I've got a trunk full of
Yeah, trunk full.
a trunk full. I'm gonna be coming in. Then we can make an arrangement so
Right.
that they can come to our delivery entrance, and it's very, we can make sure there
Yeah.
are carts ready to take it in.
Okay, that's what I had thought. Make it a little bit easier,
Yeah.
and then you can.
Yeah.
And there's no cost to drop them off.
Oh no. But I would
Okay.
say if you've got things that are kind of musty or that are wet, those are things we
Just can't
wouldn't.
take.
No, we wouldn't take those.
Okay.
And I can say that the Friends have over years learned that magazines just don't.
No magazines.
They just don't move.
Okay.
And I know everybody's got National Geographic, and they're
Yeah.
wonderful,
but
but they
don't.
just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good information to know. Well, you have an orange flyer sitting
I
in front of you. I'm
do.
kind of
Yes,
curious what
yes.
that's about.
Well, we have a special book sale. The Friends of the Library for the month of October are doing a special book sale. They call it, the prices are falling.
Okay.
And it's all of the books are going 10 for $1. And I will tell you, it breaks my heart to see a book go for 10 cents. But the delight on someone's face to walk out the door with a book they only paid a dime for is pretty amazing. So for all of October, inside the book sale room in the Twice Sold Tales book room, and then also on a couple of tables out in the atrium, there will be books that people can buy. Generally, it's all honor system, so you put your money in the box and you help yourself to the number of items that you're entitled to.
Okay.
So that's
Great.
how that works.
Great. Well, before we get off of
Yes.
that, it says Friends of the Marshfield Library.
Yes.
And I think we have a little bit of time. When you're talking about
Yeah.
Friends of the Marshfield Public Library, what is that?
That's a special group that supports the library. I think their membership is around, well, their list is about 160 some, active members maybe around 77, but they have a board, they meet monthly, they run a number of programs, they assisted with the civic band concert, they served ice cream sodas. They also supported the Hub City Days with a hot dog sale and lemonade. They looked at it as kind of a service to the families that were coming. But in addition, whatever they raise then comes back and supports the library in terms of programs. They've been a big supporter of the Codebuster program and the technology training that goes on. They often, I would say, we don't have a new format coming in soon. I mean, I don't see anything on the horizon, but when, say, Blu-rays came into being, they were one of the first people that helped us build a collection, because when you start from zero, it takes a long time to make some progress. well, the Friends helped us with a shot of funds in order to get that going.
And that's different than your regular board. Is that
Oh,
correct?
absolutely
Okay.
different. It's separately incorporated. Their governance has nothing to do with the
Okay.
library board, but their purpose is to support the library.
Oh.
Now, and good thing that you mentioned that, because there's also a library foundation,
Oh.
which is different. And it is separate from the board, although there are 3 library board members on the foundation board. Their purpose is I would say, longer term. And so they're the ones looking out farther into the distance. And when we were in the process of building the new library, the Library Foundation managed to, they took funds and donated $200,000 towards
Oh.
the project, which was a really big, that's a really big push. So it helped us a great deal. The other thing they do is they have an endowment, and it's gotten to be a nice sized endowment.
Okay.
And once a year, they decide a certain percentage of that value that they'll put towards projects for the library. So they've supported the spoken history programs that the library participates in.
Okay.
Well, a lot of the teen programs. They've been, they've done an awful lot of, but theirs is more of a, they choose a set of projects once a year, and then those projects roll out across a year's time. So it's a little different, and the Friends are, I would say, more of a little more hands-on than that.
Well, that really helps out to understand how maybe the library is somewhat funded, because it's not all, city. It's beyond that.
It is.
You wouldn't have all these programs if
No.
it wasn't for like your foundation as well as the Friends of the Marshfield Library. It's essential to have that.
Sure. Well, and even beyond that, there is government funding
Yeah.
of the library, which is more than just the city, too.
Okay.
We have formed a joint library with the town of McMillan, and so they support our library and use it just as if it,
Right.
it is their library.
Yeah.
But Wood County residents use our library, but we're reimbursed for that usage, and the same would be for Clark County. So
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
You bet. And our library, if anybody's new here, how long has it been here now with this new
We
building?
opened on September 6th of 2016. So
Okay.
we're in our 3rd year now.
And loving the new building?
Loving it, and we're always making little adjustments
Sure.
here or there. So stop in and see what we moved this week.
Well, we may have to do that, definitely. Well, you have one more thing
I have
before we
one
run
more
out of
thing.
time.
We have an ongoing program for after-school tweens and teens. So that would be those kids in that 11 to maybe 16, 17-year-old range. Although once kids drive, things change a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a program for the kids just to kind of drop in, and they can hang out for an hour and a half while they're waiting for a ride home. So we have video gaming for them. There's board games. They get a snack, something crunchy, and some kind of fruit.
Okay.
A little bit of takes the edge off that after-school hunger.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just have a place where they can relax a little bit. They've been sitting in a chair all day, and
Mm-hmm.
the idea is that they should have their attention focused. Well, here they don't have to.
So this is, again, Wednesdays and Thursday
It's Wednesday,
afternoons
yep.
after school, generally, right?
After school, yep, from 3:30 to 5.
It's a place for them to come. They don't need to sign up. Parents can drop them off.
They can.
They don't need to be chaperoned by their parents.
No, we have an adult host in the room all the time, and we are asking the kids this year to sign kind of a contract of what kind of behavior is expected, so they know what's expected, and we know that they understood what the intent was. So
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Lori, so much for all the information that's going to happen in October and all the information we got to learn a little bit about how the library's funded and how the Friends work. I think that's great information. And then the bookstore that's in there as well. Open during the...
anytime the library's open, the book's that way.
Yeah, so people can come in there, and then you have this 10 books for $1 coming in October.
It's a deal.
That's a pretty good deal, and there's some really good books in there. So do they have to have 10? Can they just take 2?
Yeah, 10 cents a piece.
10 cents a piece, so it could be 20 cents, but that all goes
But
back
if
to
you
the
want to leave
library.
something more, we'd
Yep.
appreciate that too.
Yep, donations are always welcome to help
Always.
out. It helps out, and it goes back to the library to fund a lot of these kinds of programs that you have. And, well, we're out of time. thanks again for coming, and we will meet up next month in October. The snow could be flying.
Oh, well, let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not. And we'll touch base what's happening in the month of November as the winter and time approaches. I would bet the library gets a little bit busier because of the seasons. You're not outside. It's a nice, warm, and cozy place to be and to read a book, and not just read a book. There's plenty of things to do more than books now at libraries. So, all right. Well, I want to thank you guys as our viewers of Marshfield Media Access on Channel 989 as well as Channel 991 and marshfieldmediaaccess.org, which is our new website. You can watch these programs anytime on demand, which is our YouTube channel, which is available right on marshfieldmediaaccess.org. And you can watch all the previous programs I've had with our library director. And you can go back and look if you want to see. These are our things that we talk about that are ongoing now, and not just the events that are happening. So if you wanted to look, please do. Otherwise, tune us in on those days that it runs on our cable channel. Again, I'm Tom Laux for Marshfield Media Access and the Communications Department for the City of Marshfield. Thanks for watching.